There's something almost magical about a good puzzle. Not the digital kind you swipe on your phone, but the real, solid, heavy in your hands type. The ones made of wood, metal, or strings that mock you with their smug silence. They look innocent enough at first. A cube, a ring, a box. But the deeper you go, the more you realize that someone, somewhere, designed this thing specifically to make you feel like a genius one second and a total fool the next. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 brain-bending puzzles that'll make you doubt everything. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe with that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. With that all being said, let's go do some puzzles. 25. Horseshoe and Ring Puzzle. If you've ever been to a pub or an old school toy shop, chances are you've seen the horseshoe and ring puzzle. Two horseshoes chained together with a metal ring stuck between them. The goal is to free the ring. That sounds simple, right? Wrong. What makes this puzzle so tricky is that every instinct tells you to pull harder, twist more, or force the ring through an opening it clearly doesn't fit through. The real trick lies in sneaky maneuvers, looping the chain just so, sliding the ring in what feels like the wrong direction until suddenly everything falls apart. It's one of those puzzles that has you swearing it's impossible until someone casually solves it in 30 seconds right next to you. Humbling, frustrating, but oh so satisfying when you finally nail it. 24. Tavern Puzzle, Iron Heart. The Tavern Puzzle collection is a whole family of wrought iron brain teasers that feel like they were forged by medieval blacksmiths. The Iron Heart is one of the classics. Imagine a heavy piece of metal bent into the shape of a heart, with bars, loops, and rings that seem hopelessly entangled. The goal is usually to separate one specific piece, but the catch is that the puzzle has zero give. No bending, no cheating. It's all precision moves and patience. What I love about tavern puzzles is their old world charm. They're less shiny toy and more artifact from a castle dungeon. They're also big enough that solving one feels like a physical workout. It's almost absurd. You're standing there wrestling a chunk of iron that seems designed to laugh at your efforts, but once you understand the flow of movements, the Iron Heart unlocks like a secret handshake with history. 23. Chinese Ring Puzzle, 9 linked rings. Dating back centuries, the Chinese ring puzzle, also known as 9 linked rings, is one of the oldest and most fiendish disentanglement challenges. At first glance, it looks like a row of rings threaded onto a bar. Easy. But to remove them, that's where the nightmare begins. The puzzle operates like a binary system. You need to follow an exact sequence of moves, each step unlocking or relocking the path to freedom. It's maddening because you feel like you're making progress only to realize you've accidentally re-trapped yourself 5 steps earlier. Historically, this puzzle was more than just a toy. It was a teaching tool in logic and patience. Even now, tackling the 9 linked rings is a serious undertaking, the kind of thing that can occupy an entire afternoon. It's not just a puzzle. It's an initiation into the ancient art of structured frustration. 22. Nail Puzzle, Bent Nails. You know what's devious? Taking 2 common objects, just a pair of nails, and turning them into a puzzle that makes grown adults groan in frustration. That's the nail puzzle, sometimes called bent nails. The 2 nails are twisted and looped in such a way that they appear permanently joined. The goal is to separate them. The genius here is in the minimalism. Nothing fancy, no elaborate mechanism, just a couple of nails bent with malicious precision. The solution requires counterintuitive thinking. You need to rotate and slip them apart in just the right sequence, something your brain resists because it doesn't look possible. This puzzle is often used as a quick icebreaker, the kind of thing that you pass around at parties. It's small, it's clever, and it has that perfect aha payoff that makes people laugh at how simple it looks after the fact. 21. Rope and Bead Loop Puzzle. Take some string, a bead or two, and a wooden frame. Tie them together in the most confusing way possible, and you've got a rope and bead loop puzzle. The challenge usually revolves around freeing a particular ring or moving a bead past seemingly impossible barriers. What's brutal about these is that the rope doesn't behave like metal. It twists, bends, and tangles in ways that make it hard to keep track of what's actually happening. You'll swear you've tied an actual knot and then realize the whole thing can slide apart if you just think differently about the loops. These puzzles are sneaky teachers of topology. They trick you enough into realizing that through and around aren't the same thing. Plus, they're portable and often handmade, which adds a cozy folk art vibe to an otherwise brain-breaking experience. 20. Hanayama Cast, Infinity. Hanayama is basically the Ferrari of pocket-sized puzzles. Their cast infinity looks sleek, almost like a little sculpture you'd want to put on your desk just to admire. 2 curved pieces interlock to form a continuous loop, and your job is to separate them. It's elegant, frustrating, and deeply addictive. What's clever about Infinity is how it misleads you into thinking you're on the right track. Pieces slide apart slightly, giving you hope, only to lock tighter a moment later. Solving it requires you to let go of brute force and enable subtle movements, testing different rotations until the secret door opens. The real beauty of this puzzle is that when you finally solve it, reassembling it is just as challenging. It's like the puzzle saying, "Congrats, but can you put me back together?" Spoiler, many people can't. 19. Hanayama Cast, Quartet. If you want to feel your brain melt in slow motion, the Hanayama Cast Quartet is your guy. 4 interlocking metal pieces, each bent in peculiar ways, form what looks like an impossible knot. The objective is to take it apart, and then, if you dare, put it back together. Quartet is notorious for requiring a very specific sequence of rotations and slides, and missing just one step means you are stuck in a dead end. The kicker? Even once you've figured it out, your muscle memory betrays you and reassembly feels like starting from scratch. This puzzle demands both logic and a surprising amount of dexterity. It's like a dance where every move has to be precise. It's not flashy, but it's brutally honest. Either you learn the moves, or you don't get the reward. 18. Hanayama Cast, Equa. The cast Equa looks like a miniature planetary model, spherical, symmetrical, and deceptively simple. The goal is to separate its 2 halves, but the design ensures that gravity itself is your enemy. Every time you tilt or rotate the puzzle, internal pieces shift, blocking your path. It's maddening in the best way because you could just feel the solution lurking inside, yet the pieces keep resetting like a cruel cosmic joke. The genius here is how tactile it feels. You're not just thinking through moves, you're listening to the clinks and shifts of hidden components, learning its language. Equa is the kind of puzzle you can fiddle with for hours without realizing time is passing. And when you finally crack it, you feel less like you solved a puzzle and more like you unlocked the secret of some ancient alien artifact. 17. Hanayama Cast, Elk. At first glance, the cast Elk doesn't look that threatening. 2 pieces shaped vaguely like antlers, interlocked in a way that suggests they just need a good tug. Spoiler, tugging won't help. The elk puzzle is all about perspective, rotating, sliding, and lining up those antler-like prongs in ways that feel awkward and unintuitive. What's so sneaky is how it lures you into a false sense of security. It feels doable, it looks like you're close. And then you realize you've been circling the solution for half an hour without progress. Elk is a classic example of Hanayama's design brilliance, making something that looks straightforward but hides a surprisingly intricate path to freedom. When you do solve it, you can't help but laugh at how simple it looks compared to how hard it actually is. 16. Hanayama Cast, Padlock. Padlocks are supposed to keep things secure, right? So naturally, Hanayama made a padlock that doesn't actually lock anything. It locks your brain. The cast padlock looks exactly like a miniature lock, complete with a shackle and body. Your job is to separate its pieces. But, unlike a real lock, there's no key. Just a maddening series of twists, turns, and hidden alignments. What makes this one especially delightful is the thematic trickery. Your brain keeps expecting it to work like a real padlock, but nope, it works on puzzle logic, not locksmithing logic. And the moment it finally clicks open, you get this rush of satisfaction that's oddly primal, like you've just outsmarted a piece of hardware. It's a great entry point into the world of cast puzzles, because it looks familiar, but plays by entirely alien rules. 15. Classic 6-piece Burr, Chinese Cross. The 6-piece Burr, also called the Chinese Cross, is the granddaddy of interlocking wooden puzzles. 6 notched sticks fit together to form a symmetrical cross-shaped structure that feels solid as a rock. The catch? Getting it apart requires finding the key piece, the one that slides out first. Until you do, the whole thing is locked tight. What's brilliant about the Burr is its simplicity. The design is ancient, yet it still holds up as a satisfying challenge. For beginners, it's a great introduction to the world of interlocking puzzles. For veterans, higher level Burrs with dozens of moves required just to get that first piece out takes the concept to insane new heights. But even this humble 6-piece version is enough to make you appreciate how something that looks so straightforward can hide so much trickery. 14. Grandfather's Burr. Grandfather's Burr is like the wise old sage of Burr puzzles. It looks like its younger cousin, the standard 6-piece, but don't be fooled. This one demands more respect. Instead of one quick slide to free the first piece, you're in for a multi-step dance where each movement feels like a breadcrumb leading deeper into the forest. The pieces interlock so tightly that even when you know the solution, it feels like you're coaxing the puzzle apart rather than pulling it. What makes it so fascinating is the flow. There's no brute forcing your way through, no shortcuts. It teaches patience, rhythm, and focus. Solvers often say it feels like the puzzle is leading them instead of the other way around. And when you finally pull that last piece free, you don't just feel relief. You feel like you've earned a nod of approval from puzzle tradition itself. 13. Level 99 Burr. If Burr puzzles are marathons, the Level 99 Burr is an ultra-endurance race through the desert, blindfolded. The name comes from the staggering number of moves required before you can even remove the first piece. 99. That's not 99 total moves. That's just to get the thing started. It's the kind of puzzle that separates dabblers from diehards. Each step has to be methodical, and documenting your progress isn't optional, it's survival. People often photograph every stage just to make sure they can backtrack when things inevitably go sideways. The experience is grueling but strangely meditative. Every small success feels monumental, and by the time the first piece finally slides free, you're half exhausted, half elated. This isn't a casual coffee table toy. It's a project. And when you beat it, you don't just get bragging rights. You join a very small club of people stubborn enough to see it through. 12. Stewart Coffin's Improved Cube. Stewart Coffin is basically the rock star of puzzle design, and his Improved Cube shows why. At first glance, it's just a humble cube made of irregular wooden pieces. But once you take it apart, you realize you've unleashed a geometric beast. The pieces don't just fit back together easily. They demand a specific sequence of moves, sometimes with odd twists or rotations that feel anything but natural. Coffin's genius is in making things look easy while hiding a lot of complicated parts. The Improved Cube isn't about sheer force or trying things over and over again until you get it right. It's about finding a simple answer that's right in front of you. And because Coffin's designs are also gorgeous, with polished wood and perfect symmetry, the puzzle doubles as a piece of art. Owning one feels like owning a slice of puzzle history, something that's equal parts challenge and craftsmanship. 11. Piston Puzzle. The Piston Puzzle isn't just a puzzle, it's an engineering experiment in disguise. Imagine a block of wood, or metal, with hidden internal mechanisms that move like pistons in an engine. Every time you shift one piece, another locks into place, blocking your progress. The puzzle seems to be fighting against you, changing to fit your actions and not letting you win. People that solve puzzles often complain that the process drives them mad because every time they think they found a proper move, a new obstacle creeps up. The challenge isn't just remembering sequences. It's learning to think about how invisible components interact inside the structure. High-quality versions of this puzzle are often handmade and can feel like they belong in a mechanical museum rather than on your desk. Solving isn't just victory. It's a masterclass in precision, patience, and the art of delayed gratification. 10. Soma Cube. Few puzzles are as deceptively simple as the Soma Cube. 7 pieces, each made of little cubes fused together, challenge you to form a perfect 3x3 cube. That's it. Just a cube. But good luck, because there are dozens of solutions, and finding even one can take forever. The Soma Cube is more about investigating the problem than beating it. After you make the cube, you may use the same pieces to make a lot of other shapes, such as animals, abstract sculptures, or anything else you can think of. It's a puzzle that invites creativity while still giving you that satisfying click when the final piece slots into place. Popular in classrooms, it teaches spatial reasoning and problem solving in a way that feels like play rather than work. And honestly, there's nothing quite like the moment when chaos suddenly transforms into perfect order in your hands. 9. Pentomino Tray Puzzle. The Pentomino Tray Puzzle is a deceptively simple monster. You've got 12 pieces, each one made up of 5 squares arranged in unique configurations. The challenge? Fit them all neatly into a rectangle-shaped tray. On paper, it sounds like the kind of thing you'd solve over a cup of coffee. In reality, it'll have you questioning your very sense of logic. The number of possible arrangements is staggering, and every time you think you're close, one stubborn piece refuses to cooperate. It's like trying to solve Tetris with the pause button permanently jammed. What makes the Pentomino tray special is its blend of creativity and logic. Its geometry and stubbornness all rolled into one. It's also a puzzle with history. It's been studied by mathematicians and puzzle designers alike. When you finally fit that last piece, you don't just feel clever, you feel like you've conquered math itself. 8. Bedlam Cube. The Bedlam Cube is the chaotic cousin of the Soma Cube. Instead of 7 pieces, you're dealing with 13, all made of smaller cubes fused into irregular shapes. The goal is to assemble them into a 4x4x4 cube. Simple in theory, absolutely bedlam in practice, hence the name. Dump the pieces out and you'll swear there's no way they will ever fit together. You'll try arrangement after arrangement only to be betrayed by that one last piece that just won't fit. The real fun is in the journey. Every failed attempt teaches you something about geometry and forces you to rethink your strategy. Solving it feels like taming chaos itself, and once you finally slot that last stubborn piece into place, the sense of triumph is enormous. You don't just solve the Bedlam Cube, you survive it. 7. Tetris-Style Tray Pack. If you've ever played Tetris, you already know the vibe here. A Tetris-Style Tray Pack puzzle gives you a bunch of funky shaped blocks and a frame to fill. The catch? Gravity isn't helping you this time, and there's no line-clearing reward, just cold hard logic. These puzzles usually come with multiple challenges. Today, you're filling a rectangle. Tomorrow, it's a triangle. Next week, it'll be some bizarre abstract shape. They're endlessly replayable, which is part of their charm. They're also sneaky and addictive. You'll sit down thinking, oh, you'll try just one more configuration, and suddenly an hour's disappeared. The satisfaction of finally filling the frame perfectly with no gaps is strangely pure. They're not the flashiest puzzles, but they're the kind that quietly hook you until you realize you were completely obsessed with getting every single piece to click. 6. Block by Block. Block by Block takes a handful of cube-based pieces and dares you to build recognizable shapes out of them. You'll get a set of challenge cards, each depicting a silhouette, maybe a house, a dog, or some weird abstract thing. Your task is to make that silhouette in 3D with the pieces you've got. That sounds easy, right? Yeah, it's not. The pieces never want to cooperate, and you'll find yourself rotating them endlessly, trying to see the shape from different angles. What makes Block by Block so great is how it bridges accessibility and difficulty. Kids can play with it, but adults will find themselves stumped too. It's less about grinding through one solution and more about unlocking a dozen little aha moments. Plus, it's fun to pass around at gatherings. It's amazing how competitive people get over what looks like a kid's toy. 5. Japanese Himitsu-Bako. The Japanese Himitsu-Bako, or secret box, is the ultimate in puzzle elegance. Traditionally handcrafted with beautiful yosegi wood marquetry, these boxes look like decorative art pieces. But the magic lies in how you open them. Instead of a key or a latch, you need to slide panels in just the right sequence. Sometimes 10 moves, sometimes over 100. The delight comes not only from completing the puzzle, but also from the feeling of sliding smooth wooden pieces that fit together perfectly. Himitsu-Bako have their roots in Japanese history, and were first employed to keep secrets, or jewels, safe. Today, they're prized by collectors for both their beauty and their challenge. Some are relatively approachable, while others feel like they're guarding the Ark of the Covenant. They're the kind of puzzle you don't just solve, you treasure, literally and figuratively. 4. Karakuri Trick Box. Karakuri Trick Boxes are the playful cousins of Himitsu-Bako. Japanese artists make them by hand, but instead of just abstract patterns, they often come in fun shapes, like a box that looks like a cat, a drawer, or even a slice of cake. There's a secret mechanism within each one, and the fun is figuring out how it works. Sometimes the trick is obvious. Other times, it's hilariously sneaky, like needing to tip the box upside down or press on an innocent-looking corner. What makes the Karakuri boxes so special is their personality. They're puzzles with charm. Solving them doesn't just feel like unlocking a mechanism, it feels like being let in on a little joke by the craftsman who made it. They're less about brute difficulty and more about delight, which makes them fantastic gifts and collector's items. 3. Revomaze Blue. Revomaze puzzles are legendary in the puzzle community, and the blue is the entry-level beast. Imagine a heavy metal cylinder with a hidden maze inside. You control a small pin that moves through the maze by twisting and turning the cylinder, but here's the catch. You can't see the maze. You have to learn it by feel, memorizing dead ends and obstacles until you've mapped it in your head. The blue is considered the beginner model, but don't be fooled, it can take hours or even days to solve. What makes Revomaze so addictive is the sense of discovery. Each twist feels like exploring uncharted territory, and every small breakthrough feels monumental. It's a mix of a puzzle, an endurance test, and a meditation on patience. And once you solve one, you'll inevitably want to tackle the harder versions. It's a slippery slope into obsession. 2. Trick Bolt Puzzle. At first glance, the Trick Bolt Puzzle looks like something you'd find at a hardware store. A regular old bolt with a nut threaded onto it. But hidden within that everyday appearance is a devious trick. Your job is to remove the nut. But of course, it's not that simple. Maybe there's a hidden pin, a spring-loaded catch, or a sneaky second thread you didn't see. Trick bolts are fantastic because they trick you into thinking it's just a matter of brute power when it's truly about noticing the little thing that makes all the difference. They're small, portable, and endlessly satisfying to hand to a friend who insists they can just unscrew it. Spoiler, they can't. And watching them fail while you secretly know the trick? Priceless. 1. Puzzle Padlock. Puzzle padlocks look like regular locks at first glance, but they're designed to keep your brain locked up instead of your belongings. Some require you to press hidden catches, others hide extra keyholes, and the most devious ones demand a sequence of precise moves before the shackle pops open. They're fantastic because they play with your expectations. You think you know how a lock should behave, and then it gleefully defies those assumptions. Many are handcrafted with gorgeous brass or steel construction, making them as much conversation pieces as they are puzzles. They're also wonderfully thematic. After all, what's more satisfying than cracking open something that was specifically designed not to open? Solving a puzzle padlock feels less like winning a game and more like pulling off a mini heist, minus the jail time. Well, that's all I have for you today, but before you go, a little quick extra trivia for you. The 9-linked rings is actually the earliest known mechanical puzzle with a documented solution. The first written record of how to solve it dates back over 1,500 years in China. And actually, what's wild is that the method is essentially the same as how modern computers count in binary. So, yeah, the more you know. Now, if you like this video, then you might also like this one as well. It's about facts that'll exceed your expectations. I didn't go through on how to exactly solve these puzzles, but if you would like to know that, then just let us know in the comments. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget that bell icon, and I'll see you soon. Real quick, do you own any of these? Let me know in the comments below. Catch you guys later. Go have fun. Do some puzzles.